Evening, everybody. Hi, very good evening to everybody. It has been a long time that we haven't conduct a live Facebook live in English. So this is the very first English live in the whole entire year. I know. I've been neglecting all the English speakers. So today we are going to talk about the PEMERKASA Plus economic stimulus plan. Now, why is it PEMERKASA Plus instead of just PEMERKASA? Because the reason why is because our government said that we do not have plan B. We only have plan A. So in order to improve our plan A, so they add a plus to the PEMERKASA, which already initially being offered to the public. So this round, this economic stimulus plan how can this benefit you? I know that in the first round, our MCO first round, MCO 1.0, and if you can remember, lots of benefit have been given to individual and less benefit has been given to the SME. So what happened is this round, rather than giving more benefit to the individual, and the government realized that the SME needs more attention and more helps and assistance. If all this SME were to close down, what will affect is the economy as well. Because in order for the country to gain income, the only way they gain income is through taxation. So if the taxation goes lower, whereby a lot of companies close down, that means the taxation collected will be lower as well. And when the tax gets lower, that means the country will get into trouble as in liquidity and also financial. And not to forget, this year we actually threw in a lot of money for vaccination, for supporting the economy and supporting the individuals as well. So without further ado, let's see what we have this year for the PEMERKASA Plus economic stimulus plan. So first of all, why they introduced this PEMERKASA Plus? Like I said earlier on, they do not have plan B, they only have one plan, which is plan A. So in order for them to improve the plan A, so they add on a plus to plan A. So first of all, our unemployment rate already increased to 4.8%. Now this is quite alarming because every country, the intention is to lower down the unemployment rate. When there are more and more people do not have job, okay, the economy is very simple. So whenever you spend 1 ringgit, the economy will come back to another person that 1 ringgit, and this 1 ringgit would spend to another person, the other business 1 ringgit. So in other words, all this economy is actually circulated. Now if the money is not circulated, which means if there's a lot of unemployment rate, the disposable income will be lesser. So in order to circulate this economy, is not going to be balanced. So all the country's intention is to keep the unemployment rate as low as 3% or below. However, having said that, in most of the country, it is not easy to achieve 0% unemployment rate because at any point in time, there are people who don't want to look for a job. There are people who just want to rely on the government. Even though in the good times, there are people who doesn't want to look for a job. So it's very hard to keep 0% of unemployment rate. But as far as all the government's concern is they want to keep the unemployment rate as low as 3% or below. So when it comes to 4.8%, it's quite alarming because the unemployment already hit 1 million right now, and it will soon affect 4 million of people, and in other words, 4 million people will be jobless in no time, So which means if this keep on going like that, the unemployment rate will not just be 4.8%, it will be much more than 4.8%. Now, while I was talking about this PEMERKASA Plus, those of you who have any questions to ask me, please key in the comment below and I'll answer to you right immediately. Thank you so much. Now, so unemployment rate, when it hits to 1 million, and it will affect 4 million people in the future, which means it will go much higher than 4.8%. So which means this will affect the whole entire economy, and there will be less and less people who have more disposable income to spend, which in other words, people will tend to spend on the lesser amount of money things. Rather than going to Starbucks, they probably go to coffee shop, and rather than going to buy in luxury product or branded things like gas, mango and all this kind of things, they will go for a cheaper version. So there will be a swap in terms of economy, and there will be a correlationship and correction in the economy point of view. So next is the economic growth at 5%. So previously, our country was very, very positive about the economic growth, and they were saying that, it will achieve 8% or so. But then look at the way that it is right now. It is not possible to achieve such a high economic rate because of so many times of MCO, and because of this MCO is not ended yet, and we do not know when it's going to be extended. Now, according to the phase one, it's going to be as soon as we achieve less than 4,000 cases, and there will be 10% of the people have taken the vaccine. That means we can go back to usual, but not fully open up. The economy would not be fully open up with certain criteria and certain restriction. So we have already hit, which is very good milestone. We already hit 10% of the vaccine. But then, again, we haven't achieved below 4,000 cases, which means there will be the second and third phase that ongoing, and we do not know when is this going to end. Now, look at this. Looks like the whole entire year is going to be a MCO period again. We already wasted our 2020 for this MCO, pandemic things. But looks like 2021, we're going to stay at home as well. Which means if you are staying at home, unless you're doing e-commerce from home, or you are doing something that doesn't require a physical shop, or you're working from home and you can achieve your sales target, that wouldn't affect the economic growth as well. But there are certain people, for example, factory manufacturing product that is not essential items, you cannot open and you cannot operate during this period of time, which means this will be affected as well. So the economic growth is very, very important to the country. Every economy that is growing, it represents that this country is actually achieving something, and there's room for improvement every single time. Now, if the country is not growing, that means it's very difficult for the country to achieve a developed country. So this is relatively very, very important for all this economy to be growing every single now and then. All right. So next is, according to the SME Association of Malaysia, 100,000 of small businesses already closed. Okay, they already closed down. But another 500,000 of SME, small businesses and medium businesses, will come to end as well. Now, if you notice that last year it was quite alarming to every one of us when we heard so many companies that was quite well known, even franchises that has been doing so well, like Papa Rich has been closed down. And there are so many shops in Mid Valley. Mid Valley, you and I both know it. The minimum waiting list will be 6 months and above. But then we actually seen so many shops closed down during last year. So which means that the economy is going to have foreseen that more and more people will have difficulties in sustaining their business. 100,000 already being affected and 50 more thousand to come. So which means in total there will be 150,000 of businesses will close down by this year. So this government takes this very, very, it's very crucial for the government to do something to intervene. Otherwise, more and more small, medium businesses will be affected, and that would means the tax collected will be lesser, and it also affecting the bankruptcy rate in Malaysia. Now talk about 2.8 million enterprises will also be affected in terms of their profit, in terms of their numbers of people that are working. They probably have to cut or retrench, or they even have to, to declare losses, or even some of them have lesser profit. Well, I think if you're still doing profit, although it's lesser, I think it's still okay. It just means that we all have to be much more prudent when we talk about spending new things, or even buying new cars. Although there are lots of temptation right now, which I will come to it later. There will be a lot of temptation right now for you to spend even more money, and you will have all these discounts and sales every single day. But that is something that we have to have our sensible mind before we start spending anything. Okay. Number 3, the Malaysia will suffer 1 billion losses every single day. Now, every single day that we have MCO, which is right now we call it FMCO, every single day